everybody, today's video is a two-parter. The first part is how to pick a foundation to match your face. And then the second part is a review of said foundation, which in this case is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Makeup right here that Estee Lauder was so kind to send me, I think almost all their shades or every shade in the bunch. So keep on watching, you'll watch how I got this going and we'll then do a little review. The fun part of this video is trying to figure out which shade of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude I am. Now they've sent me a ton of bottles. I'm not entirely sure if it's the entire range, but it looks like it's pretty close. I've narrowed it down to 5 options. I mean, it's kind of obvious that I'm not going to be in the darker range, like this one. It's not gonna happen. I can tan all day, every day. There's not a lot of deviation here. So that's gonna stay closed because I would like to give this away and not waste it or contaminate it. So I have narrowed it down to, like I said, 5, more likely 4 likely candidates. And there's 2 places that I recommend swatching. Now, professional makeup artists always recommend going from like the middle of your cheek and swatching it a little bit down onto your neck so that you can see how it blends across all the different skin tones, because oftentimes your face and neck are 2 different shades. And that's great if you're working with a professional makeup artist or you go to a makeup store or department store and you're working with someone and you have no makeup on. Most of us, that is not the case. Most of us go shopping for makeup in person with a full face of makeup already on. So, and most of us don't want to take our makeup off at the makeup counter. I know I don't. So, next best thing. Let's do this arm so I'm in frame. Oftentimes the underside of your arm is a next best option, or even I think best option because you have a lot more surface area to swatch like crazy. If you tan for real, usually this part gets tan, not so much this. So this is really the most accurate part on your body to match up to your face. So we're gonna give this a go. I am going to start with the lightest shade, which is 1C1 Cool Bone, right here. Just shake it up. I have one criticism, just one so far. I've never actually used this. Why? If drugstore brands can put a pump on their foundations, why can't Estee Lauder? They sell it separately. It's outrageous. So you just need the tiniest little bit on your finger, and then we're gonna run it right here, and I like to rub it in. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there. At the end of this, I will zoom in and you can see all the swatches. But I can tell right away, it's a little pink. I'll show you what I mean when it's all done. So that was 1C1 Cool Bone. And usually cool in the makeup world means it has pink undertones. Now we're moving on to Ecru, which is 1N2, so neutral. And I'm gonna swatch it right underneath it. And it's right there. Next is 2N1 Desert Beige. Give it a nice shake. Yeah, this is too dark. This is unbelievable. I'm gonna actually stop with this last one. This is 2C1, so it's Cool Fresco. Okay, I've swatched them all on my arm that I think are the closest. I actually think my perfect shade is one of the shades they didn't send me, which is fine. I'll also show you how to make a shade that doesn't quite match up work. But let's zoom you in and we'll talk through why I'm gonna pick which one I'm gonna pick. So this is the first one I tried. And this was the one that has a cool tone. And as I hope you can see this, there is definite a pink undercast to it. I can see this at least on my arm. And it's not, as I rub it in, it's not really blending. You can see a huge difference between my skin, this is my naked skin, and that one. This is the one I'm gonna grab. This is, I think, Ecru, if I remember correctly. And even though I haven't blended it all the way in, I feel like this is the one out of the 4 here that disappears the most into my skin. I think once I blend it out and blend it down my neck, and my skin is a little darker, my face is a little darker, this is the one I would go to. This one is definitely too dark. And then this one you can really see, forgive the drip there. This one is definitely too dark and obviously also very pink in its undertones. So we're gonna back it up and try that one. Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 30, and we are testing it in the shade 1 and 2, ecru, whatever. Shaking it up. I'm gonna apply it 2 ways. I'm gonna use my favorite foundation brush. This is how I apply my foundation every day, with a flat top kabuki brush. This is one from IT Cosmetics, the Heavenly Luxe flat top buffing foundation brush. And then, because a lot of you ask, I have brought out the Beauty Blender and we will try that on the other side. I prefer the flat top. It gives a little more fuller coverage, and that's how I like to wear it. It's a preference thing. I'm just gonna dab on one side, and I'm gonna just start putting, I wish there was a pump. I have a pump. Once I figure out that this is the shade I like and that I actually like this foundation, I will put an old pump on here. Actually, you know what? Whoa, it's very runny. I'm not gonna hold my hand up, but it's very runny. I don't wanna get it everywhere. Like on my shirt. Okay. Well, let's just put it all over the face. Let's just be generous. Okay, we're gonna work fast. I'm gonna buff on this side. Let me turn sideways so you can see the buffing. So for buffing, I basically like to dot, and then once I've kind of gotten it spread out, then I just buff. So it buffs very quickly. It blends in. And as you can see, even though I felt like this shade was a little darker on my wrist is very pale. Once it's blended into the skin, it blends in just fine. So I would recommend, if you're in between shades and you just really love the foundation and you really want to wear it, I would go a hair darker and a hair warmer than what you are. It'll warm up the face. It does blend in once you blend it down your neck, and once you slap on powder and bronzer and all that good stuff, then you are good to go. So that is one layer, so to speak, done. And then let's turn around and let's dot it in on this side. I'm going to use my computer monitor and mirror here. And I'm just bouncing. Like I said, I don't love... If you like sheer coverage, this is great. It is very sheer, especially when applied this way. It's covering up. See that? That's a particularly awful red spot, but it's not covering up anything really. I will probably put another layer on with the... I'm gonna do another layer with the Beauty Blender just to make sure the coverage is the same on both sides, so we're playing fair. Okay, so here it is. Beauty Blender side, right? Yes, Beauty Blender side, foundation brush side. Sunlight as it is, filtered sunlight coming in on me. This is definitely a bit dewier than the old Double Wear original. Far better coverage on this side. So, since I'm actually going to be walking around, going to meetings, and whoa, I used too much, and doing my regular day, I'm going to go ahead and put more on this side that I use the Beauty Blender with, just so that I match up, and add a little bit more to this side, since I did now like basically 2.5 layers over here. Now it's on. Now we're moving into phase two of this, which is the review portion. Very, very initial first impression. It's dewy. It's much lighter on the skin than the original formula. It's not nearly as heavy coverage, which I like. It's a nice, lightweight, more medium. It's not setting up all that quickly, which is good. You can work with it a little bit. I am going to finish my whole face, powder, concealer, eyeshadow, blush, all that good stuff, and then dry my hair, and then I will come back and we will talk a little bit more about the foundation. Okay, so full face of makeup is on, and I will list everything that is piled on here in the description box below. Before I get to the full-on review, let's talk about the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh makeup. So, did a little research. It is $42 for 1 ounce, which is the exact same price as the good old-fashioned Estee Lauder Double Wear. It has SPF 30, so that's nice for daily wear, and it is billed as a 24-hour wear. Who would want to keep their makeup on for 24 hours? Okay, but we'll see how that works. It is also listed to be anti-pollution, and it comes in 12 shades. They say it has light to medium coverage, and it's supposed to mimic a skin-like finish or satin finish, and it's recommended for all skin types. Well, in case you don't know, I have dry skin, and so I can only speak to how it's going to wear on this dry, aging 44-year-old skin that is prone to breakouts as well. You saw it was definitely on the lighter side of the coverage. I have quite a few blemishes and healing blemishes, and it didn't really cover those unless I piled it on, and then I even had to go back and add concealer and powder and all that. So now that that's all done, I'd say it's pretty good light to medium coverage, just like they say. It is quite dewy, I feel. I do not think it is going to be good right off the bat for oily skin people. I really don't. I don't think it's a satin finish. I think it's pretty much a dewy finish. I've powdered the heck out of my face. It is like almost 100% humidity here. So that's my impression. As I was drying my hair, I got very heated and I was at one giant shine ball. So I had to go ahead and powder again. So you're seeing a couple layers of powder here. It feels like I am naked on the face. I will say, bonus points, it is very light in feel. I feel like I have no makeup on. So it's really pleasant on the face. Again, my only criticism is the lack of a pump in this day and age. Why? I read on the website as I was getting some more information to review for you that the way they recommend applying it to the face is shaking well and then taking your finger, let's pretend the cap is off, shaking it well and then taking your finger and going like that and dotting it on. They said, we do not recommend that you pour it onto the back of your hand. Oops. Okay, so yes, I did waste a lot of product that way. There is a pump for purchase. I just think it's at $42, you can put a pump on. I can't get past that. I'm kind of stuck on that. Anyway, I'm gonna go about my day. I have some errands to run. It's misty, rainy, off and on, very humid. So I'm gonna give it its run for the money, and I will come back just before the end of the day and let you know how this baby stood up. So I'll be right back. All right, it's the end of the evening. It's 9 o'clock. I've had this on. I got a really late start. So I filmed 11. So I've had this on for 10 hours and I tried to set up some lights. It's late and it's not great lighting in here, but I don't know. You can kind of see, I'm gonna get really close, like really close. I've been on the phone a lot and you can see it all rubbed off. So did my bronzer. It's really cakey and dry here and on my chin. It's kind of, my eyeshadow is just fine, which is a combination of Wet n Wild and Chanel. So for me, my personal experience, I don't love it. I don't think it wore particularly well. I don't think the color, I'm in between two colors. I don't think this is the right color for me. It will not replace my current favorite, which is the Dior Forever Foundation. I think if you have combination skin and you want really lightweight foundation, this might be good. I think what this is actually quite good for is to mix with other foundations that are a little too heavy and too cakey to maybe make it a smoother, less cakey finish. Like, I think mixing this half and half with the original Double Wear would make for a really pretty finish, but by itself, I am not loving this. I did pop on to see how other people felt right before I turned this on, and the reviews on the Estee Lauder website, people love this foundation. They think it's their new holy grail. I do not have the identical experience, so I can just share that with you. But there you go. There's another one for the books. If you'd like me to review any other foundations, I can do that. I can do the wear test. Look, my highlight held up all day. That was Wet n Wild. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry I'm getting distracted. It's been a long day. First day back at school for Shane. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments below if you'd like to hear about any other foundations. I'm happy to go out and grab some for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.